The cost of internet and data bundles is about to increase. I will tell you why in just a bit. Also, residents of Runda Estate, they went to court to stop the construction of a church in their estate. We'll talk about all this and all the day's top news and trending stories. Welcome to Speedfeed. My name is Kimani Bogwa. Thank you so much for joining the Speed Feed live stream today. If you're new here, we talk about the news and trending topics, and the comment section is open. So give me your thoughts and reactions to the stories that touch you. I'll be reading them as we go on with the show. Thank you so much. If you're watching on Facebook, don't forget to share with your friends. I'm sure they will love this show. Yeah, they will love you as well for sharing this show. All right, let's get into it. And speaking of touch, the government is going to touch your pockets and make you pay more for making calls and using the internet, because Parliament's Finance and National Budget Planning Committee included amendments in the Finance Bill 2021 to increase excise duty for data and calls by 5%. So this, of course, means consumers, all of us, if you use a phone, you will have to pay more for internet and making calls. Yep. MPs also approved a proposal by Treasury to reintroduce 16% VAT on LPG, which means the cost of your mtungi ya kupika ama cooking gas is also going to be going up by about 350 shillings. For those seeking bank loans, this bill also proposed to increase excess duty on loans to 20% from 15%, which means your premiums will be more expensive. Last week, MPs from the Finance Committee, led by Gladys Wanga, they hoodwinked Kenyans by rejecting VAT tax on bread and flour. Little did we know they were going to come back and do this to us. But would you live without Instagram or ugali? Make a choice. Tough choices if you ask me. But that is how things are right now. All of this, though, it depends on whether the president signs the finance bill tomorrow. Yeah? If he signs it, the cost of data is going to go up. If he doesn't, things will remain as they are. So it is all eyes on him and fingers crossed, because, remember there's the 1 GB for 75 shillings. That made sense, and I would like it to remain like that. But if the president signs this bill, some of us will just have to delete data consuming apps, because we will go broke trying to see pictures of strangers on the internet. Yeah. Give me your reactions and thoughts on this. Kevin Frank Makoseve, I see, says that's a campaign strategy. David Chikala is here. David Boni says, MPs, yes, they're going for your data bundles. Yeah. Also, if you work from home and you depend on internet, get set. If the president signs that bill tomorrow, your premiums might go up next month. Now, speaking of strange things, IPRA has published a list of petrol stations that are selling adulterated fuel. Of course, this is fuel that contains high levels of sulfur and it's bad for your engine. Now, some rogue suppliers add kerosene to petrol to increase the volume and, make a kill. And according to IPRA, though, 99% of petrol stations in the country are compliant. They sell good fuel, but they did find some stations who are selling adulterated fuel, and I have seen one that I know. Yeah. Some of them include Bay Energy. This is on Racecourse, just before you get to Lenana School. That station has been flagged. Another one is called Misha Filling Station. That one is in Meru. There's another one called Shukran Filling Station in Trans Nzoia. We've published, though, a full list of on Kenyans.co.ke, and this story, which was filed by our senior journalist, Brian Casey. So the list is there in case you want to see what stations they have flagged to be selling adulterated fuel. IPRA, though, they closed those petrol stations and fined some of them up to 760,000 shillings for doing so. Yeah, but the good news is that 99% of petrol stations in the country, they actually sell good fuel. Yeah, now from petrol stations to education. Students, they're expected to start their new academic year in late July, but after yesterday's CBA negotiation meeting between TSC and teachers' unions, that might be in jeopardy because those talks broke down and teachers threatened to go on strike. So this is what happened. TSC offered teachers in the new CBA negotiations, they offered them non-monetary benefits like adding leave days. Male teachers were going to get a week more on their paternity leave, and female teachers were going to get more days on top of the 120 leave days they get for maternity leave. Now, they said, so they offered teachers these non-monetary benefits instead of more zeros on the paycheck. And Kuppet and NAT officials were not having any of it. They refused to make any agreements with TSC that do not increase the money that teachers earn. Yep. So those talks broke down, and TSC cited though that remember that directive from SRC that was made to freeze salary increments for all civil servants? Yes, that's the reason TSC was using. But teachers argue that they are part of frontline workers and they should be remunerated properly. Yeah. NAT and Kuppet officials, they gave TSC 7 days to come up with another CBA that includes money, or else teachers will go on strike. Give me your thoughts and reactions to this. I see, who's here? Let me try see some of your comments. Yeah, someone. Akaya Edgar, na pombe je? Pombe, actually, there's some brands of alcohol that have increased their prices. Thank you so much for your comments. Yeah, keep them coming. I'll read them as we go on with the show. Yeah. So, what else do you need to know? Meanwhile, if you missed the president's address yesterday, it was impromptu, it just happened. He came on, everybody was nervous. What was he gonna say? But he had a Christmas present promise, I guess. Yep. Is a present? Yeah, it is a present. Yes. So he promised that by Christmas this year, 10 million people will have been vaccinated against COVID. And he also spoke of a plan by the government to vaccinate 26 million people by June 2022. Also, all other current COVID protocols remained. So things are just as they are. Yeah. But he said 10 million people are going to be vaccinated by December 25th. And 26 million others will be vaccinated by June 2022. That's a big promise, and we will be looking to hold him accountable, because I saw some comments on this story that a lot of people find it hard to believe. Yeah, but that's a promise. Anyway, the government is getting more money to buy vaccines, and we hope they do so, because we do direly need these vaccines, to be honest. Now, speaking of those restrictions on COVID, or restrictions generally, some residents of Langata and other surrounding estates, yeah, you have been restricted from the power grid. Yeah, Felix is laughing because of my segues today. Nimeamua bro. Yeah. So yeah, Felix ulilala kwa giza kwa sababu Langata hakuna stima. Yeah, so Kenya Power put out a statement this morning to explain that outage in most parts of Langata. They say that there is a fault on a bulk supply line that connects Embakasi to the Nairobi West substation. So if you live in the general Langata, Nairobi West, Bomas, Karen area, you haven't had lights for a while. Yesterday, from 5 p.m. yesterday, did you have lights this morning when you left? They came at around, yeah. So Kenya Power explained, they said, they gave an advisory though to you, make sure you keep your lights off when the power is not stable, except for your security lights, because that actually, this is what they said. They said that you should keep your security lights on, because that is what will help the people who are fixing the power lines to know that the power has come back. Yeah. And when the power is back, people of Langata, Lisa and Felix and your people, they say that you use electricity sparingly during the first few hours to prevent an overload, which can cause further outages. So msiende plug kila kitu. I know everyone now floods to the socket to charge simu and a fridge and a TV and kila kitu. Yeah, so relax. That's what they said. Anyway, now, have you ever received money from someone you don't know and they call you back pleading with you to return money? Have you ever been one of those people? Either you received money from someone or you sent money to the wrong person and you are the one begging. If you are the one who received money from a number you don't know, I hope you're not one of those people who would withdraw that money immediately and vanish and change your line and start a new life. Because if you are, you could go to jail. Someone did. There's a man who on Monday was sentenced to 3 months in jail after he refused to return 16,000 shillings that was sent to him by mistake on his phone. So, this is actually based in law. It's based on the Cybercrimes Act of 2018, which targets people who intentionally hide or withhold electronic payments sent in error. Yes, you can be jailed for being sneaky. And I will read you some interesting thoughts on this. Yeah, because I've seen some comments here on Facebook. Sheba Wildspring says, only 3 months. Why not 16 months? 463 days only? That would teach him and the likes of him not to be a thief. David Civita on Facebook says, although times are hard for a lot of people, let this be a lesson. You're stealing money that was intended for someone else. So do you guys return money? Yeah, if you receive money from the wrong number, would you return that money? Please do. Because if you don't, that person decides to pursue you, you're gonna be in trouble. Mtu wa Maju always here says, and now he will be eating ugali free in the prison. Nicholas Brady says, this serves him right. The law is there to deter such foolish and unreasonable acts. Sam, the chiller, says, what about Kemsa billionaires even before we talk of mwizi wa shilingi mbili? Let me tell you, Sam, if you send 16,000 shillings to someone and they withhold that money, the first thing you're going to think about is not those people who stole billions. You will think about your 16,000 shillings because that is rent. Yeah, maybe alikuwa analipa rent or doing something. Yeah, so thank you for your comments. James Morara says, Mahasla hustling in the hustler nation. Lucy said, self-inflicted trouble. Lucy Njoroge on Facebook. Thank you so much for your comments. Now, to other matters. In the murder trial where Migori Governor Okoth Obado is charged with the murder of Sharon Otieno, who was murdered in September 2018. This time, his lawyers have asked a Nairobi court to postpone his trial, which was set to happen on July 5th. They are citing COVID restrictions imposed on Migori and other counties in the western region. The prosecutors have lined up about 37 witnesses to testify against Governor Obado and his co-accused Juma Oyamo. And the case had been postponed in March because of COVID restrictions again. And now his lawyers are still citing COVID restrictions, especially now the stringent ones that have been put on some counties in Nyanza and Western. So they say the case be postponed until the COVID situation in the country eases. So that's the latest from that case. Yeah. Now, the county government of Nairobi. What were Nairobi? All of us here in the city. In the financial year 2021-2022 budget, they have a budget of 39 billion shillings. They will receive 19 billion from the national government, but they will need to raise the rest of the 19 billion. Where is it going to come from, you ask? You guessed it right. More taxes and more levies on people. So, the county finance executive, Alan Igambi, says they have a plan, And the plan is, one, to increase the number of properties eligible to pay land rates. Currently, there are 161,000 properties that pay land rates, but they want to double that number to about 300,000. They will also increase land rates by about 0.13%, and they will also increase the number of registered businesses in the county. So there are a lot of people who are doing business in the county without being registered. They want to get more businesses in that fold, pay more licenses. Yes, number 3, they have plans of collecting about 200 million shillings from betting firms who have an annual turnover of about 5 billion shillings. And they also plan to gazette more parking zones to collect more money. Yeah? You see, when you're asked in your school, what's your plan to improve your grades? Nairobi County, they said, you're going to collect more taxes, add land rates, have more parking zones, tax betting firms. yeah, basically improve their tax collection base. Yeah, the city budget has to be funded somehow, right? Yeah, collection of revenues where it's at. Yeah, that's usually the easiest place to go. And also, Kenyans are notorious for avoiding to pay taxes. So, there's so many tax loopholes in terms of collection. Because, in as much as we are complaining about COVID, I also believe that a lot of businesses are flourishing in this period, right? Like, ever been like you're suffering, like you don't have money, and you notice, where is everyone getting money from? Yeah. Last weekend in Naivasha, everyone was out partying, and you guys came back to Nairobi. And some of you who went out there will still feel nil returns. Yeah. So, if you live in Nairobi County, taxes are coming. They also say they might add our parking fees. Not yet confirmed, but yeah, they've hinted at it that they might increase, parking fees within the CBD or within Nairobi. Now, take a breather because I want you to, bookmark this. Take note of this. Just make a mental note on this one because I want you to read this story. An interesting read for you today that I want you to, go and check out on Kenyans.co.ke. And before I do that, I have a graphic. Yes, beautiful. This is our website, Kenyans.co.ke. Paper transforms into digital. And all the stories you will find there, they are arranged in a chronological order. You will always find the latest. So the interesting read that I want you to check out is a fantastic story by Samuel Kamau, one of our journalists who spoke to a 36-year-old woman who came up with an innovation that eases communication between hospital personnel and patients. Yeah, so details of it are there. Some interesting Kenyan innovations. Don't want to go too much into detail about it because I want you to go and read it. Thank you so much. Get on Kenyans.co.ke for the latest news. Thank you so much. I hope you do it. Now, I think we should have probably led by this one. For some reason, it's here, and I saved it for you who is still watching right now. So, there's a very interesting story by the Star today about the Presidential Security Unit. So, this is a team of security forces who are assigned the role of protecting the president, the first family, retired presidents, and the deputy president. Now, in this particular administration, for the last 8 years since 2013, the Presidential Security Unit has been operating as one unit with a central command. And the unit could be deployed interchangeably between the president and the president's family and the DP side. But of late, they have been separated. So, the security attached to the president reports directly to State House and no mingling. And those attached to the deputy president, they report to his current residence, and they do not interact with each other, and they do not exchange. Very interesting story by us. Whoever did this, it's fantastic. Like, that's some nice one. Some really juicy details over there. That the relationship between the president and the deputy president is not so good. It's so bad that even their security protocol, even their security guards, they're not allowed to mingle. Okay, one of the people cited in this story said that it was done because of COVID, because, to avoid transmission between both teams if they keep getting switched. Yeah, that's one of the reasons they gave. But the most important one there is that security detail of the president and the deputy president, they don't interact. Yeah, they have separate command now. Meanwhile, promised to tell you about Runda people. Yes, so this is an association called Runda Gardens Association. They moved to court to stop the construction of a church in their neighborhood. This is according to the Business Daily. And they went to the Environment and Land Court, but they have been directed to the Environment Tribunal, where their complaints about the construction of the church will be addressed there. The court said, okay, I think there's a much easier way of dealing with this conflict here. So they accuse NEMA of not consulting residents before approving the construction of Fountain Gate Church which is being constructed in Runda, and they not only want to stop the construction of this church, they also want the structure that had already been built there to be demolished. And of course, the outcome of this case is which is now before the Environment Tribunal. It will be interesting to watch. What if they end up saying the church be demolished? Yeah, I'm sure there are neighborhoods that don't mind churches, but we also need to draw the line, right? Yeah, if you live next to a church, you know what I'm saying. I'm just gonna stop there. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Thank you so much for following the feed. Now you're in the know of important news that you need to know today. And now let's take a look at who the internet is mad about right now. Who is firing up the conversation? Of course, the BBI appeal hearing is about to start in about 9 minutes. It's gonna be coming up. So if you're watching on Facebook, you just scroll up and follow the BBI hearing process as they're happening today. Former AG Gatham Muigai has made his submission. Otiende Amolo is also on that line. That's regarding that case, but I don't want to go too much into the details because it's live and you get to see it for yourself. But also, the internet is talking about Ambare for some reason. Yeah, there was a drama in that side. And for me, what stood out about this whole story is how Mike Sonko went to Ambare's Instagram and started commenting. Yeah, so there's a hot story there. It's all over the news. I don't think there's more details I can reveal about it. Yeah, also if you have, there's a very interesting I'd say it's like a modern investigative journalism that has been done. There's a lady, what's her name? Kenyan Fiona, who did a whole 33 minutes 30 seconds of how Ambare became famous. And I think if you watch that, you'll be much better off to get more context on this whole Ambare story. Yeah. Time to check out your comments. Yeah, all of you here on Facebook. See. Denny Sagala. Hey, Kimani. I haven't forgotten about that thing we talked about, Dennis. Yeah, I have Sijasahau, by the way. Sijasahau. Washington Obongo is a diluted, meaning imeongezwa gas. Ama, yeah, they add kerosene. They add mafuta ya taa into petrol in the diluted fuel story. And one of those stations is Bay Energy on Racecourse. Yep. Just before you get to Lenana School. So Sion amefufuka ama boss ameanza kazi. Yeah, the new boss at Nat and Kupet. No, Kupet don't have a new boss, but yeah. The teachers have threatened to strike. They wanted more money. Wakaenda wakaambiwa tutawapatia more leave days. Wakasema, ati what? Leave? Leave for who? We want money. Yep, and they said they will go on strike if they don't get the money. Yeah, there's the people who are there are two people who are exchanging very interesting here on the Facebook comment section. Yeah, so Edgar, you someone is looking for you, Edgar, and they're not pleased. Yeah, they're following you even to the comment section here live. So whatever you guys, yeah, Edgar, you need to address that issue. Thank you so much for watching Speedfeed. Let me leave you so that you can watch the BBI hearing case. I know a lot of you are getting to learn a lot that is contained in the BBI through, watching this case. Thank you so much for tuning in. I don't take you for granted. I really appreciate that you stayed with me here as I give you news and talk about trending stories and what you need to know for the day. My name is Kimani Mbogwa. See you again tomorrow. Goodbye.